Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Let me get the chat. Good morning. It's a lovely looking morning here. I'll show you outside the window while I get the chat up. Look, the sun's out. The pigeons are pigeoning. See my pigeons? Let's see if this one's going to come up on my window ledge. I'm telling you, they come up and they look in the window at me. It might do it. It's not going to though. But they do that. Right, hold on, where's the chat? YouTube, if I done this. There, that's better. There, okay. There, got is live. Remember, put it to live chat, everyone. Remember, put it to live chat. And then we can see everybody. There we go, live chat. Good morning, sweet Gemma and Jane. Good morning to you. Golfer girl, my lovely golfer girl, good morning. Sweet Jenny, good morning to you. Sweet Sky, lovely Sky, good morning, good morning. Look at me, I'm a punk rocker this morning. You notice that? I'm feeling a bit like a punk rocker today. Good morning, Edge of ASMR. Good morning. I'm all studied up. Look, I've got studs. I'm all studied. Like, I done a video this morning, you see, so I've got to kind of. I was playing like a punk rock kind of person. I think I had my hair all like this as well. So. Thank you, golfer girl. Pip, good morning, my sweet Pip. Good morning. Thank you, Sky. Thank you. Yes, I've got another one. It's got even bigger spikes. Oh, there's a pigeon looking in. I swear to God, this is what they do. What? Can you see it? This is what happens. It's just sitting there. Look, it's going to look in the window at me. See it? Oh, the dogs. The dogs have scared the blooming pigeons away. Thank you, Edge of ASMR. Thank you very much. I'm good, Pip. I'm feeling good because it's kind of sunny out there. I think, see, when the sun shines, I think you just feel a bit better. It's still cold, mind you. I mean, it still would freeze the balls off a brass monkey. I love saying that. It sounds naughty. But it's sunny, so I'm happy about that. I'm happy that it's sunny. Oh, Sky, did you get a wee shave this morning? Now, listen, ladies, even though that maybe some ladies do the whole shaving thing, I don't know. But today, when you go onto my video, I'm going to do that. I'm going to shave yous, and I'm going to give you a haircut and all of that good stuff. Oh, Age of ASMR, that sucks. Isn't it? And you don't... I think car mechanics are kind of like vets to me. You don't trust them. You know, you go in and you need a spark plug fixed, and before you know it, you've got 4 new tyres. Good, Pip. I'm so happy that you're happy. That's wonderful news. I'm happy I got up and I was able to sit and play with some makeup. So this is my new palette. Look, I just done a kind of neutral look today. See that the other one was bold. So that just shows you can do like a, well, maybe not the big eyeliner there, but it's just a neutral look using that palette. So I can use it for all sorts of stuff, which I love. Jenny, I know I don't trust them. I don't trust them. This, especially see if you're a lady and you go in with a car, I think they go ching ching. They've got pound signs flashing in their mind, so that as soon as they see a lady going in with her car. But I was doing motor vehicle. I was doing it. He's too low. I don't know if he's up too low or if it's just. See, I don't know how to work this new thing that I've got. He's in. It's a bit better. Yeah, I done motor vehicle. I actually stripped an engine bare and then put it all back together again. So I did back when I was 16, I done that. Underneath cars, taking not only the tyre off the car, but actually right inside the wheel bracket of the car. I had all that out, and oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I was the best in the class. But back then, the teachers did say to me that all the guys in the class would be offered the position before I was, because that's the way it was back then. They wouldn't hire a lady to do a motor vehicle, even if she was great at it. Thank God times have changed. Education Mother's no point, because I forgot everything. I forgot everything. I forgot. Do you know? See if you need some water in your windy wiper bottle. I can do that. I'm all right at doing that. Putting water in your windy wiper bottle. That's something I can do. Apart from that, not really. I can't do anything. Forgot it all. Forgot it. Pip, I know that's what you go in and you need a spark plug, or you go in and you need new blades for your window wipers, and before you know it, you've got 4 new tyres, new brake pads, and all the rest of it. See, I would have loved that to continue doing my motor vehicle, Angela, and actually know my stuff, so that I could go into a garage and then somebody trying to swindle me and I would just give them the whole lingo. I don't know. I'll tell you what has stuck in my mind for back then. We had to do, when we were doing the stripping down of the engine, we had to do a whole thing about a 4-stroke engine, and it was induction compression power exhaust. And that was very important. I don't know why it was important, but that stuck in my mind. That's how an engine works. Induction compression power exhaust. So that's the only thing that stuck in my mind. Yes, Pip, I know. In fact, I remember it says a wee girl. If you seen like a woman driving a car, you'd be like, "Oh, that lady's driving a car. She's bound to be terrible." Do you just think that? That was back in the day. That was back in the day when you were in your workplace. It was perfectly all right for gentlemen in your work to slap your bottom and have a wee feel at your boob. Back in the day, that was just part of the job. That happened to me in my workplace. I get that. I had big boobies and I didn't want them touched, but the gentlemen would do that. And I'm calling them gentlemen loosely. See, if it was nowadays, I know it would happen. Yes, that is your windy wipers. Your windy wipers. Oh, Angela, autocorrect's terrible for me. I send people private messages and stuff, and it makes no sense whatsoever because autocorrect just decides to put a word in. In fact, talking about autocorrect, right? Now, this was going back when we all had just got the iPhone, right? And autocorrect was a whole thing. And my daughter was phoning me, and I was at the checkout in Asda, so I couldn't really get on the phone and talk to her. So I sent her a text, right, and then just sent it, and I continued to put the shopping in my bag, and I could see her going, "What? You're where?" Like that. And when I looked, it says, "I'm at church." I'm at church, it said, right? And I was at the Asda checkout. And I phoned her when I came out. I says, "I'm at Asda checkout." I says, "I'm not at church hen." She was saying, "Mum, I thought there was something wrong." I had to go and say my prayers immediately. I don't know why I'd be at church on a Thursday night at 10 o'clock or something it was. I'm at church. She must have been looking at that going, "Mum's at church? What? What's Mum doing at church? I don't know. It must be bad. There must be something happening." I had a mad confessional. I had to go and confess my sins pronto. That's what I had to do. Talking about that, today is Ash Wednesday. So it is for other Catholics out there, because I'm a Catholic, although I don't go to chapel all the time and all the rest of it, which is naughty of me, but it is Ash Wednesday today. But here, people will not be able to get their ashes because we're still in lockdown for one. I'm going to put my fan on. See, all of a sudden it overheat. But do you know what the priests are doing? Instead of giving you your ashes on your head, they're giving your ashes on your forehead. And I used to be really proud when I was a wee girl getting my ashes done. Ah. Angela, it was like 10 o'clock at night on a Thursday. And Mum's at church. And I was married at the time, so she must have been saying to my ex-husband, what's Mum at church for? And he'd have been, I can imagine the whole scenario in the house. I don't know what she did. She never said anything to me. She never told me she was going to church. There must be something bad if Mum's away to church at 10 o'clock at night. It's a case of, I need to confess right now. This is a case of, I can't wait till Sunday to go to Mass. This is I need to get the priest out of his bed for this. This is like an exorcism or something that needs to happen. That was all correct, but here that had me giggling. That had me giggling for a long time, that. Yes, I know, I was an Asda. But I knew all corrected something when I was seeing why? Question mark, like 5 question marks. You're where? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And a face, an emoji like that. What the hell? I know, Angela, I know. Mum's at church. So that was all correct. That was a hilarious one. That was really good. Oh. What was the other one? The other one was a kind of a serious one as well. This was at a funeral. What was it I had wrote? I can't remember. It was a funeral though, right? And I was sending my daughter a message saying, "Will I bring some hankies?" Because we all know at funerals you're going to cry at a funeral, right? So somebody needs to be bringing. Wait a minute. Right, Poppy. That's what it was. I remember now. I had menthol hankies, know how the ones that have got the kind of balm in them, the balm hankies, and it says, I thought I had said, will I bring these menthol balms, and it came out, will I bring the Mentos or something like that to a funeral. And again they were like, the Mentos? What are you talking about, Mum? I'm going to go to the funeral and freak out. But what are you talking about? And I was like, no, the menthol tissues, the menthol balm things. That was all correct again. But here, that was at a funeral. That was no laughing matter. You know what I mean? That was... You don't want to be doing that at a funeral. Although we know that I get a fit of the giggles anytime. See, any kind of stressful situation, it kicks me off. There's my lovely Jacqueline. Good morning, sweet Jacqueline. Good morning. Yeah, funeral, I've told you before this story, but it sticks in mind. It was the most terrible funeral ever, and it was my wee granny. So it was my wee granny. And if you don't know this story, I'll tell it again. It's worth telling. And I had a terrible fit of the giggles, but I think that day my granny had possessed me. I swear, I feel as if my granny had been into my soul that day and was making me giggle. Anyway, it all started actually the day before when we went to confession, right? That's when all the madness actually started. And we had a priest, I swear, we had a priest that was asking inappropriate questions, to be quite honest. I'm not kidding on, right? First of all, my cousin goes into the confessional. No sooner has he went in and he's back out again, but his face is like fizz. He's like that. And we're thinking, that was hell of a fast one. What happened there? So then my brother went in. He was in for a wee bit of time. And he came out and his face was like that as well, right? So I was like, what's going on? So I went into the confessional and he started asking me about if I had any kind of relationship things before marriage and stuff like that, and you know, what was I doing with contraception and stuff like that, right? And I was thinking, I'm just in to confess some of my sins so I can get my communion tomorrow at my granny's funeral. So I had all that. But anyway, I was like, Father, I'm a married lady, Father, you know what I mean? I was like, this is a bit weird. But I've not been at confession in a while. Maybe they just asked these questions. When I came out, would say to my cousin, what happened to you? He said, I went in and he said to me, are you married? And he said, no. He says, are you living yourself? And he said, no, I live with my girlfriend. And he says, get out the confessional. I am not going to forgive you for your sins, and neither will God. Right, this is what he said to my cousin. So my cousin, he got turfed. He wasn't getting his confession. He got threw out. My brother went in and he was asking my brother if my brother was indulging in any kind of strange acts in the bedroom. My brother said to him, no, father, I'm a kind of ordinary guy. Right, that's what. So the madness started the day before my granny's funeral. Madness started on my granny's funeral. There was a big, you can imagine like a church door, big heavy church door, marks along the ground where the church door had been scraping because it was so heavy, this door, and it would jam open like that. This wee old lady walks through the door and the door just slammed in her face like that. She was holding her face like that. Me and my mum were behind her. We're going, you alright? Oh my God, this poor wee woman, are you okay? Get a seat for her. Were you alright? And everything like that. And she was like, like that, crying. And she goes into church and my mum said, your granny hated her. And I thought, Gran, that was my gran that done that, slammed the door on that wee old lady's face. That's how it started. So we go in, and because we're like immediate family, we're kind of like the front rows of the church. My granny's there in the coffin, there's my granny, my poor dead granny, it's in the coffin. My uncle is sitting in front of me. For the life of me, I don't know why I didn't see anything, but there was a tiny spider weaving a web from his ear down to his shoulder, this wee spider, right? And it was doing a good job. There was quite a lot of webbing happening. So it's doing that, and I'm going, oh my God, this. And my brother, he's nudging me, going, like that. So I started laughing, like that, like that. And I'm saying to myself, Linda, stop laughing. That's your granny. Look at your granny. See what your granny's like. It's no laughing matter. Stop the laughing. For the life of me, I couldn't stop the laughing. The giggling, I was going, like that, never. I don't know to this day why I never just went, Uncle Arthur, you've got a wee spider there, let me get that off you. Right? I don't know why I didn't do that, but I sat for the whole funeral watching Arachnophobia live on my uncle's ear. I'll tell you that I couldn't, and there was people taunting at me. But then again, I started to get defensive, and I'm thinking, my granny was in hospital before she passed away. She was in hospital for a while. And I'm thinking, I never seen you at the hospital, my granny. Who are you? Just here for a free meal? It was terrible. But I swear, I was possessed that day. Possessed. Angela, I'm sure she did, because that door, there was no, that door just doesn't slam. This is a big heavy door, and it slammed, and she was going, oh, like that, this wee lady. Me and my mum were, oh, you alright? We're trying to console her. You alright? And all that. Go and get a seat, poor wee woman. The door slammed in her. What happened to Betty? The door on her face, blood. And my mum saying that your granny didn't like her. And I thought to myself, Gran, don't start the day, Gran. Please don't start today. But she did. I'm telling you, it was like arachnophobia at Edge of ASMR live in front of me, and he kept going like this as well, right? Because he's obviously felt something, but he missed it. He kept missing, and I was like, and my brother's nudging me like that. So that was kicking me off, and it wasn't funny. It was a funeral. Now, people would have said I was being disrespectful. I couldn't help it. I'm telling you, it was like something inside me. Pipsy, my funeral, I've told everyone what I want at my funeral. Everybody's wearing pyjamas at my funeral, including myself. See, when I'm lying there dead, I want new pyjamas. New pyjamas. Just as the pyjamas will do, as long as they're new pyjamas. And everybody's to wear their pyjamas and their house coats and stuff like that, because we're all going to be comfortable. Really, never mind the black suits and black tie and all the rest of it. No, I want to see people at my funeral with Disney cartoons like Pooh Bear and Piglet pajamas on. That's what I want to see. I want to see the guys with SpongeBob and things like that on. You know, Homer Simpson pajamas. That's my funeral. That's what I'm wanting. Angela, I know, but that's my wee granny swore like a sailor. Swore like a sailor. Even when we were wee, I mean, this lady just swore like a sailor. That's the way she was. She was brought up hard in Glasgow. It was hard days. And the houses back then, it was a room and a kitchen, they called it. And the toilet wasn't even inside. You'd need to go outside for the toilet. And it was like a communal toilet that everybody used, kind of thing. And I always remember going into it and there was a smell of matches because back in the day, they never thought about air freshener. There was none for breeze back in the day or anything like that. When you went to the toilet, if you'd done a number two and it was a bit smelly, they would light a match and then blow it out so that the smell of the sulphur would go about the place. So that's one of my early memories is going into toilets and they always smelled like matches. So they did. And there was like 10 people in the one house. You know, the one house and there'd be like 10 people, all these wains all in the one bed and stuff like that. And it was a real hard life for my granny. It really was. She just grew up like that. She grew up a wee hard woman. She actually, this is all true. She used to go down to the pubs and arm wrestle the men for money. So back in the day, they used to have like arm wrestling competitions, like they would put money in and guys would be arm wrestling and stuff. My granny used to go down and arm wrestle the men, but a rule for the ladies was if you're a lady, you can hold on to the table. I don't know how that gives you an advantage, but I suppose it does. And she used to win these arm wrestling matches with men for money. That's how strong. And she was only my height. She was only 5 foot, but she was a strong wee woman, so she was. Age of ASMR. No, I see. I don't really want that. Do you know one of my songs? But I doubt they'll let it in a church. I want House of Pain jump around, but I don't think they're going to allow that in a church. I don't think they're going to allow that kind of song in a church. But Comfortably Numb, Pink Floyd. I love that one. I'll definitely be having that at my funeral. Oh, she was some lady. She was some lady. She used to see if she didn't like my mum's boyfriend. She used to throw them down the stairs of the close. So she did. She was a right hard woman, and she was also a Celtic supporter, like myself. She was a Celtic supporter, and back in the days as well, it was like really bad the sectarian with Catholics and Protestants and Celtic and Rangers and stuff like that. And she didn't get on with Rangers fans. And when I was marrying my ex-husband, he's a Rangers fan, as everybody probably knows. I've said it. He's a Rangers fan, and I was terrified. I thought my granny's going to throw him down the stairs. And I had told my ex-husband, I says, now there's a good chance when you meet my granny, you might get thrown down the stairs. I'm just putting it out there as a possibility this could actually happen to you. Just go with it. Just go with the flow. Just be thrown down the stairs. I'll come down. We'll just go home. But for some reason, when I took him up to see her, she was fine and she'd a wee budgie. And he says to her, would you like me to change your wee budgie's cage and clean all the thing? And she went, aye, son. So that was it. He was in the good books. He didn't get thrown down the stairs. So that was a bonus. I thought, well, that's good, Granny. Oh. The power of love, Edge of ASMR. Oh, Sky, no. See, that's like my son says. That's the kind of things he says. Just toast me. No, Sky. No, I'm having everybody in their pyjamas anyway. That's what I'm having. It's a sleepover. Only I'm sleeping forever. It's that kind of sleepover. But the children, they all know the script. They know. But you can imagine it at the funeral hall, all these people in all their pyjamas. It's going to be, I wish I was there to see it. I wish I'd be there to see it, but, well, I might be a ghost haunting them. slamming doors and folk that I don't really get on with. Just see you, by the way. I always hated them. Slam that door in their face. There we go. Haunt people. Woo. Go up and poke them like that and then run away. No, I won't be. I won't. I wouldn't want to be haunting. I don't think I would. I think I don't want to come back as a ghost. I'll be going straight for the light. I'll not be. I'll not be kind of hanging about the light. I'll be going straight to it. Ah. Yes, Sky will have. My goodness. But there you go. That's my inappropriate laughter joke. That so you couldn't get any more inappropriate than laughing like that. But honestly, my granny, oh, what a woman. But see, back in the days as well, yes, Pip. See, it's stress. People are not going to be stressed at mine. They're going to be comfortable. I'm all about the comfort. My granny, the reason she'd strong arms is because back in the day they used to like have to manual wash clothes and stuff like that. You know, they'd boards that they used to have to wash the clothes on and stuff. It was a hard life for my granny. And her dad, my mum said that her dad was a right nasty guy apparently. And you used to hear him coming up the street and he always had a stick and he would run the stick along the railings like that and he'd be shouting, "Get my tea on, get my tea on." And my granny's mum, she would have to have the man's dinner on the table with beer as well, regardless if they had money or not. She had to have that, or they would all be getting a beating. That's terrible. So thank God we're not back in day times, but it's looking a bit better when you think about what it was like. But she was a hard woman. Yes, see, it was wartime. It was like warm wartime, and back in Glasgow in the days, it was no joke. You know, it was scary times. When I was a wee girl, it was scary times. I remember having to sit in the car sometimes because there used to be a gang of Neds hanging about, and I'd be sitting in the car in case the car was going to get broken into. I remember that. Just leave the child in the car. If there's any Neds, come over to the car, beep the horn, and we'll hear you. I'd be sitting calling in. I'd be sitting in the back of the car, just drawing a wee picture and stuff like that. Gangs of Neds, say, leave your child in the car. See, what kind of times was it back then? And they would smoke in the car. People would smoke. My dad had a pipe. My dad would have a pipe bellowing out in the car. And us as children, we'd just be falling about in the back seat because there wasn't a seat belt in that whole car. No seat belts. Me and my brother be on the floor. Yes, Stuart, that's what I like to do. I like to think about the good times. Because towards the end, my granny, she'd cancer and everything, and she ended up having to get one of her legs amputated, and it was like gangrene and things like that had set in, so it was a horrible ending for her. But I always remember her as the wee hard woman that she always was. She used to hang out her window and shout at people that she didn't like coming along the street. She was terrifying, actually. See, as a wee girl, she was actually terrifying. She was a terrifying wee woman. And the swearing that you've never heard swearing like this in your life. But that was just part of life back then. That's the way it was back. Everybody was the same. You know, it wasn't as if she was abnormal. They were all the same. Just everybody was the same. Well, apart from the throwing down the stairs, people she didn't like. That was her own unique thing. she liked to do before get down the stairs. In fact, somebody phoned the police on her. I remember that. One of the fellas. See, one of the fellas that was dating my mum, right? She didn't like him, so he got through down the stairs, so he did. And he phoned the police. And the police came up to the door and with him, and the police were laughing and saying, "This wee lady here threw you down the stairs." The guy was like 6 foot or something like that. "Threw you down the stairs, are you kidding us on?" So the police went away laughing, so that no action was taken. I thought, well, imagine him going to the police and saying that wee old lady there pushed me down the stairs. But there you go, he did. Yes, that's right, Pip. They used to do that, and not only that, they used to see like dummies. We call them dummies in the USA. They're called pacifiers. What they used to do was when the kids were teething, they would dip it in whiskey and run it all around the baby's mouth. So that's what they used to do to help with teething. You know, that's just the kind of stuff they used. Back in the day, though, we were all licking lead paint off our cots. We're lucky to be alive, really. Yes, see, I'm in the that's the side I'm in. We were brought up there. In fact, where my granny's house was, it was a place called Royston. So that's basically 2 seconds away from right the centre of Glasgow, and that's the place that was. It was always something. There was always somebody fighting in the street, and right across. God forgive me, right across from my granny's house was a convent, right? And it was a spooky looking convent. And me and my brother used to play a game called Hunt the Nun, right? I'm not being disrespectful to nuns. This is just a game we used to play as a child. And it was like a spooky convent, right? It was like something at a horror movie. And there was lights on the convent, and all of a sudden you would see a wee black figure going by one of the windows. It was a nun, right? And you'd be like, I found one, that's 1-0 to me, 1-0 to me. And then we'd be hunting through the windows and you'd see another wee black figure like that just going, 1-0 to you. So it was Hunting the Nun we used to play. We used to play that game. I don't know if that's, if I need to confess that's sin today. But we used to do that. That was the highlight, going to my granny's. Hunt the Nun. It sounds like a bad game, but we were completely innocent. We were just counting the nuns in the convent. But they look spooky. See, when you see the nuns going by, they look spooky because they're dressed in all their black. Be like a spooky figure like that. I seen one up at that window. No, that's 3-0 to me. I'd be like, Mom, I seen 3 nuns. James only saw 2. We used to play that. That was a game. It was spooky though. Spooky. I wouldn't want to be in that convent. It looked as if it was a spooky place. And it looked haunted. Sky, it did help pass the time. It was either watch the nuns or watch people fighting in the street. But you would have that as well. Or you would have just the one crazy person walking up the street that was absolutely hanging together, as we would say, drunk, just singing away and just shouting and putting his hand in the air and saying stuff. Like, look at this guy. I mean, it was there was always something to watch. Pip, I wouldn't want to be. They freak me out. Do you know that was another day out we went? Know how we went a day out to the police station? We had a trip to a convent, and it was spooky as hell. I'm not. It was. I don't know why. It's just spooky to me. It just freaks me out. And my mum's cousin was a nun, so she was, but it just spooky. But I think it's probably because we did play Hunt the Nun that's why they're so spooky to me, because they were very spooky. Imagine me in the woods like that, chasing them through the woods. Latte ASMR, good morning and hello, how are you? Oh, well, Beth, I was there in the 80s and 90s. I was all about there in the 80s and 90s. Every Friday night, before we were even married, we used to go down to my ex-husband's brother's house that was down in Royston area, and it was just like a drinking session. Sometimes there might have been the odd illegal cigarette going about, and we would play pool and that kind of stuff. But coming back on the bus to where I stay there was always some kind of drama, because it would be the last bus home we would get, and there would always be like fights on the bus or something weird happening on the bus. I put a video up this morning, laddie, ASMR. I do them all the time. I'm always doing ASMR videos. But yeah, 80s and 90s, that's where I spent my time, was down in Glasgow. I'm trying to think what I'm doing. There's another. Oh, that's what it is. I keep thinking, Kaylee, my lovely Kaylee. I've still not got my props for Kaylee's video. I'm still waiting to be a travel agent, everyone, and take you somewhere beautiful. We're going to look through the brochures together and look at gorgeous places, and we're going to imagine lying there with our coconut bikinis and all the rest of it. Men, you can have fig leaves if you want some kind of, because I don't think a coconut would be uncomfortable for you. Beth, my particular, where I grew up as a wee girl was Easterhouse in Glasgow. And it got to the stage that me and my brother were getting older, and it was like gangs back in the days. And there used to be horrendous fights between one scheme and another scheme. Every weekend, it would be terrible. And it got to the stage that we were going to have to pick our gang kind of thing. And my parents said, no, we'll get out of that particular district and go to this other one that's quieter. The 80s was wonderful growing up though. See the whole Madonna thing and all that, but that was wonderful. And when we called them hi-fis, you remember like the hi-fis like that, and it'd be like a turntable on it, and then you would have your tape decks, and then underneath you'd have a space to put your albums and things like that. I can remember getting one of them one year for my Christmas, and it was one of the best presents I ever got. It was amazing that I had got this hi-fi for my bedroom. And that was me dancing like Madonna in my bedroom like that. Holiday, ooh yeah, celebrate. JL, I'll definitely be doing more hairbrushing videos. Yes, I'll be definitely doing that, because they're one of my favourites is hairbrushing videos. But I like the sound of the brushes actually on the camera, so I'll probably do something like that for you. Yeah, the 80s was brilliant. And then the whole Live Aid thing, can you, empty that's been there, Live Aid, when that happened, that was so emotional. I remember that was a very emotional time, because we were all waiting in this Live Aid concert to happen, and it was Status Quo, I remember, was the very first song on it, and it was rocking all over the world that Status Quo sang. And see, as soon as they started singing, we were all in tears in my mum's house. My mum was in tears, my dad was in tears. It was like a very emotional thing, this Live Aid concert, so it was. And I remember my dad was trying to phone in to give some money, and you couldn't even get through because the lines were jammed with people phoning in to donate. It was, and we sat up the whole night watching it. It was amazing. And then it would cut over to the USA, and I think it was Philadelphia that they had their Live Aid, and Madonna was on that. I remember watching her on that. It was wonderful. Beth, I can't stop myself tapping. I tap all the time. I do it and I don't even know that I'm doing it. It's just a habit now. And see if people say going to not tapping videos. Oh, it's like, oh, when I'm taking makeup and stuff like that. Oh, it's hard for me not to tap. It's really, really hard. Yes, that's the year my son was born, Sky. That was, and he's got a T-shirt saying "Made in 2001," one of the best years or something. I got him a T-shirt saying that. There's my sweet M. Good morning, M. I'm a punk rocker today. You might not recognise me, but it's because I'm a punk rocker. I'm doing some punk. Maybe I should go. Ah, people say, look at this old lady, look at this old lady try. Mutton again, mutton dressed as lamb. Look, somebody's already thumbs down me. See her, I can't stand her. She's on every, I'll be on here every day just to give her a thumbs down, that's what I'm going to be doing. My first recollection of ASMR was watching the teacher telling us a story, and it was page turning. You're in dental school. Oh, I hope you do well in dental school. Pippa, no, didn't it? What a shame. The world has just went to chaos. Thank you very much for saying I look good. That's very nice of you. But Live Aid, oh my goodness, oh, it was such a good event, wasn't it? And it was very emotional. I remember that the emotions were running high, even with the artists. And some of the bands would go on and their equipment wasn't working properly and all the rest of it, but it was pure live. Oh. Oh, my sweet Em, I hope you get a good sleep. I've done a video, see if you feel like getting a shave, then I've done a men's shaving video this morning, but ladies can watch it as well, we can watch it too. And there's water sounds and all this kind of stuff. That might help you drift off to sleep. JL ruler on paper. See, but back in the day we didn't know what to call it. There wasn't a name for it as such. But I remember that used to always trigger my ASMR, and I used to get the tingles up the back of my neck and my head. Would be just turning papers. The teacher, when she was reading a story and turning the paper like that, I'd be just glued to it. I remember in school we used to get a nurse in all the time to check your head. She used to come out to check your head and check your nails and stuff. And I used to bite my nails, right? And they used to slap your hand. I got my hand slapped. Oh, Freddie Mercury was wonderful. He was the best in Live Aid, was Freddie Mercury. He had everybody, even in their houses. We were all doing Radio Gaga. We were all doing it. We were all doing it to Freddie. When he was on stage, everybody, you couldn't not look at him. He was like a magnet. Yes, it's funny to see. It's all kind of stems back from school. Everybody that I've seen, they've had some kind of ASMR experience back in school and not realised what it was. Maybe the sound of felt pens or something like that. But I've always liked page turning videos as well. In fact, Valerie's page turning video that she just done is really good if you like it. And it's she's got a book about Ireland, and it's a great book, right? You'll be really interested in it. And she does a page turning book and she's explaining all the stuff. And you see like the Giant's Causeway, that's that place that's got all the stones that are like hexagons. They're just weird, like long stones. It's called the Giant's Causeway. She goes into that. There's also this wee cottage in it, and it reminds me of, I don't know if any of you remember this movie. It was called The Quiet Man, and it was John Wayne that was in it. Deed, good morning to you in beautiful Australia. Wow. Yeah, The Quiet Man, and it was all set in Ireland back in the day, and it was just a great movie. So it was, and it was all about a fight that was happening between John Wayne and this other guy, and it's just a really good movie. And the wee cottage in it reminds me of the cottage in Valerie's book, and it's just like a white cottage, but it's got a thatched roof on it and all that. Yes, Beth, listen, see if you have never seen The Quiet Man, you should watch it. It's an old film, but it's a wonderful film. And the accents, of course, I love an Irish accent, so the accents are wonderful. And John Wayne, John Wayne's amazing. Papa realised that when I was going through my chemotherapy, I found it, which was wonderful for me because I was on the massive steroids at the time, and it helped. The ASMR videos used to just bring me down a wee bit and help me get to sleep. See, I like tapping as well because it sounds like rain to me. I always think it sounds like rain. And I used to go to sleep with the Soothing Sounds app. It was back in the day, and it was like rain, but it was rain on tarpaulin in particular that I like the tarpaulin. Or see if my umbrella's up in my wee table and chairs outside, I've got the big umbrella up. See the noise of the rain hitting that? I love that. See, there's so many wonderful ASMR people out there, and you should definitely explore. And there's so many. I mean, me and my mum were talking about it this morning. I was pretty well, not one of the earliest, but I was on doing ASMR a long time ago. It's been what, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. Did my piercings hurt? No, my piercings didn't hurt at all. My piercings were fine. The only one that was a wee bit nippy was this one. See this one here? That's a wee bit sore, but there's like, see if you feel there in your ear, there's quite a lot of skin there. That was pretty nippy. I did have my tongue done as well before, but I took that out. I went into hospital and I had to take that out, and see, by the time I was in the hospital, I went and put it back in. It was all closed up. Yes, see, I keep saying to my daughters I would do an ASMR. Me and Amanda tried. I think it's on her channel still. That was the day Amanda had come over and we decided that we felt a bit like some champagne. Right, we thought, I says to her, would you fancy a wee glass? Just a wee glass of champagne. Right, with 3 bottles of champagne we had. And I was going to do like a spa video. I had it all set up, and I was going to just do her arms, like brush her arms and stuff like that, and then put lotion on her arms and things, and you know, that's the kind of video. But see, as soon as I put the camera on, the twos would start giggling like that, and I'm going, right, let's stop giggling now, right, 1, 2, 3. It didn't work. We couldn't do it. We were just laughing. So, but I think that was the champagne actually. But then she went out into the garden and was a maniac with the strimmer. And I'm watching her. And I'm watching from my window, laughing at her. Instead of saying, Amanda, put the strimmer down, hen. I can't remember how she got home that day. I cannot remember. I remember her going home, but I don't know how I don't know if it was a taxi or if someone came and collected her. I'm not sure. I remember seeing her off at the gate, but that was some day that. Oh. Oh yeah, fabric sounds good. See, Pip, there's always other things that you maybe think I'm not going to like that, and you actually really do like it. See, at first tapping, I was like, I'm not going to enjoy that. That will annoy me, and it really, I loved it. Ah, thank you, Stuart. That's so kind of you. I've had to throw some food out this morning because I've been terrible already this morning. Remember I told you I had bought black pudding? Right, I still hadn't cooked it, so this morning I cooked it and I had, right, this is what I had. Black pudding, fried egg, a totty scone, mushrooms, beans and a bit of toast. Yes, and the soup's done as well. So the rest of it all got put out, the rest of the black pudding and that, because I feel guilty. I cannot eat the rest of the day now. That's me. Oh. Do you know what? I'm taking hot flushes all day. Yesterday I was hot flushing, and all day today I've been hot flushing. No sooner have I got the fan off, but I'm hot flushing again. I think I've done, maybe it was a live stream. I've definitely done my nails before, like put on false nails and painted them and everything like that and filed them down. But I can't remember if it was a live stream or a video. Yes, well, I've got a huge ironing in there, but we might do that tomorrow. And seeing that, I can't be bothered. Can't be bothered tomorrow. I need to go to Farm Foods tomorrow, so that's like I need to get all my masks and all that. I need to get ready for that. Yes, yes. Yes, that's people. Some people call it blood pudding, but we just called it black pudding, and I love the taste of it. I know a lot of people hate it, but it's good for iron and all that as well. It's got a lot of iron in it, but I like it with beans or with tomato sauce. But back in the day when I was really enjoying it, I didn't know what it was made of. You see, my mum wouldn't tell me what it was made of, but we always knew it was tasty. Oh, my sweet Sky. See, Sophie's the same. She can't eat a lot. She can eat like small amounts often, but she can't eat a lot at the one time, or she feels ill. And Sophie's got to watch because her iron and all. Remember, she was in hospital before with her iron, and they had to give her build up and all. Oh, that was horrible that time. Well, anyway, I think I'm going to go. I've been on a while. Pip, that's wonderful. I wish I could see. I'll need to get back on the diet. I fell off the diet wagon. I've never had a fried Mars bar, LG. I've never fancied a fried Mars bar, but I know it's a thing. Some people do have fried Mars bars, but not for me. So, anyway, guys, I'll be back again tomorrow. I hope you all have a wonderful day, midweek. And as I say, I love you all and have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.